Hi everyone, this is Heidi from flutterbyheidi.wordpress.com, back again with another Sunday scoring project, and this time I'm using up some of my celebration DSP to make this lovely freestanding card with a pop-out diamond on the front of it. It's a little bit different, and it's a square version. It's similar to some of the other accordion fold cards I've done recently, but this is actually works out about 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and all of those squares are cut using the Stampin' Up! Layering squares framelits. So all of these squares, you get 2 lots, and you get plain squares and you get scalloped squares as well. So I've just used the plain squares, and they come in, as you can see, different sizes, and all of those literally nest just inside each other to give you perfect cuts and perfect borders every time. So that's what I've used, and quite simply, it's a very straightforward card. You need a piece of card that is 29 by 14.5 centimetres, and you're going to score along the long edge at 3.5, at 7, at 14, and at 18 centimetres. And that's all our scoring done. And then come in with your bone folder, and as you've done before, just crease those in the direction of the score line. So that's where you've scored, folded in that direction, before you do the concertina. So that's going to come back on itself. This one comes forward, and the front one comes back. And that makes just a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 card base. So once you've done that, it's a very straightforward process of adding some layers of DSP, and I've already pre-cut these and layered them onto some retiring Watermelon Wonder, one of the in colours that's retiring. And these panels, the front is 2.5 by 13.5, and that's layered onto 3 by 14. The second piece is 6 by 13.5, layered onto 6.5 by 14, and this back panel is 10 by 13.5, layered onto a 10.5 by 14 panel. And with those, I've just added some tear and tape to the back. And this is a useful tip, that when you're using tear and tape and you're putting things on, just peel back the first centimetre or so and give it a crease, and that's what I call sort of bunny ears. That enables you then to sort of line your DSP up, or your panel up, and sort of put it in place, and then you can simply pull those strips away, and it really does help get those layered up nice and square. I'm not the best at layering things square at the best of times, so it helps me certainly. So do the same again on this middle panel. So again, just make our bunny ears, and then just lay that in place. And then the very front panel, do the same again. And this is a great card for using up DSP, and I love the celebration balloons. I think it was a real shame that it wasn't a standard stuff pattern, and it works really well with the Up and Away and Lift Me Up bundles of thinlits. So that's our basic card. On the reverse, I've put a panel on the original one of Whisper White there, which I'm just going to stamp. I'm going to use some smoky slate, and that's just a nice soft kind of colour that's really good for adding a little bit of detail. So just going to add a few clouds around the edges, and then I'm using the large balloon, and these are all from this lovely Lift Me Up stamp set, which is carrying over to the new catalogue as well. And I'm just going to stamp off once before I stamp my balloon down the bottom corner, and then just add our sentiment in there. and this one is Sending Smiles Across the Miles, but there's lots of other sentiments in here that you could use. So there's a lovely happy birthday, hope your day's on cloud 9, happy birthday, so perhaps we'll use that one instead. So again, just line that up. So there's our stamping done on the back of our card, and then again just come in with our tear and tape, and you literally can tear this as you stick it down, or you can use your scissors as well. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Some people prefer to use the scissors. You can get a little bit, you know, you can sort of get stuck on your finger, so just come in with your snips and snip that off. And then I always give it a bit of a rub down, sort of burnish with my fingers, because that then helps to make sure that it's well adhered before you try and lift it up. If you struggle at all though, it's always worth using your piercing tool. That will help. That will help you take the backing tape off as well. Okay. So make sure it's up the right way, which what that one is, and then just pop that on the back there. And then for our layers, the first thing we need to do is to create our balloon. And I've used this technique before, but I'll just show it you again. This is to actually add the panels to the back of the balloon thinlits, because obviously they're quite detailed, and it's very easy, if you're not careful, to get glue all over the front. So what we do is we come in with some of our multi-purpose glue, just pop it on I've got a non-stick mat here, and then get a piece of our stamping sponge and just literally dab all over, and then literally holding it in place, just dab that glue all over. Just be careful not to move your die cut, obviously, otherwise you will get a bit of glue on the front. There we go, and having done that, try not to stick your finger to it, which is what I've just done. You can then come in and literally line up all your dies. Now I start from the bottom on these and literally just come along and pop those up against each other. Like so. And obviously you could do any colour combination you wanted. You could do a solid colour if you wanted by just sticking the die onto a plain piece of card and then cutting around it. But I do rather like the effect that you get from this lovely layered balloon. There. Just give my fingers a quick wipe. It's always useful to have wet wipes on hand for when you're crafting. Who knew? Okay. So there's your die cut balloon, and so what we need to do now is come in and build up our layers. So all of these, as I said, have been used using the layering dies, and you can see they just layer up perfectly on top of each other. And I've stamped and die cut the balloons in Night of Navy as well to go with those. So each of them is already layered up, and then for speed I'm just going to literally use my fuse, because my sail has just run out as I've come to pick it up to use it. So but obviously fuse, fantastic, really strong bond. I could use tear and tape, but obviously to do all these layers will take a little bit of time, and I'm sure you'd rather be spending your time crafting. So having done that, what I'm going to do is add some layers of dimension by adding on some stamped and die cut images, and by coming off at the side it just adds a little bit more interest to it. And you can just pop our balloon in the middle there, like so. So that's our first layer. Our next layer, I'm just going to stamp one of the clouds off on the side there. Then we can add our balloon. Now you'll notice that in this instance I'm actually not using, I'm just going to stamp another cloud down here, I'm not using dimensionals, and that's because it's a concertina card, and actually if you're not careful you end up with too much bulk, so you end up having to get you know, but your card won't fold particularly flat, so that's why I'm not using dimensionals on this one today. So there are our panels. So now we're going to come and add these to the centre. Now, because these are diagonals, I'm actually going to just come in and line them up using a ruler. So we're going to line up just at 7 centimetres. And about there. Let's check that. Yeah, that's about perfect. And just pop that in the middle there. And then this next one we're going to line up again. So I'm lining this one up just on the edge, like so. And then the same again for our final diamond on the front. And would you believe my snail has never out? Oh dear. Best laid plans. There you go, tear and tape to the rescue. I always have an assortment of glues on hand. Right, so there we go, the final diamond just comes on the front here. Just check that that is reasonably centralised. Touch high, there we go. So there we have a diamond layering card with a little bit of a pop out as well. So I hope you've enjoyed making that card. Do get the lovely Lift Me Up bundle. It's available till the end of May as a bundle, then it'll be only available separately. So you've got the Lift Me Up stamp set and the Up and Away Thinlits dies, and you too could make a card like this. And if you want to use these colours, don't forget your Watermelon Wonder is retiring as well, so get that while you can. And that will fit in a standard 6x6 envelope and make an unusual card, and which I'm sure the recipient will very much appreciate. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you need any products, visit my Stampin' Up store and come back and see me again soon for another Sunday scoring. Bye for now.